Real Deal. I am back to do another crochet tutorial, and today's tutorial I thought that I would show you how to make a granny square. Okay, because honestly the granny square is kind of sentimental for me. It was literally one of the first crochet things I learned how to do besides a chain and a single crochet. I have a wonderful friend named Heather who came and sat down beside me and said, here, let me show you how to do it. This is how I was taught from my grandmother. Okay, I didn't have a grandmother teaching me how to do granny squares. But anyways, so let's grab some yarn. Let's grab a crochet hook. I am using a J hook today just so that my stitches are a little bit bigger and you guys can see everything. But we are going to use, you can use a solid color, but you guys all know how much I love this multicolored yarns. So I'm going to use a multicolor today. Yeah, so let's grab our yarn, our crochet hook, some scissors, a tapestry needle, and let's get this started. Okay, so to start today's tutorial, we are going to be making a slip knot. Wrap your yarn around your index finger, like I've shown you in other videos. B over A, bada boop, A over B, bada beep. And we have our slip knot. Just about every crochet project starts with a slip knot. Now, if you remember from previous videos, we are going to chain, how to make a chain. We're going to chain up 4. So 1, wrap your yarn around your hook, 2, wrap your yarn around your hook, 3, wrap your yarn around your hook, 4. Now, in the granny square, we are going to go into this first chain, your starting chain. So the chain right below the slip knot, we're going to insert our hook. We're going to watch out for this little tail that's in my way right now. And we're going to pull up a loop through all those and do a slip knot. Or not a slip knot, a slip stitch. Sorry guys. And we are going to continue chaining 1, 2, and 3. Okay, this first chain 3, that is considered the first double crochet. Now, we are going to be working the double crochet stitch, and if you watched my last video, was all on the double crochet stitch. Okay, so we are going to be starting to make little shell patterns, okay, because this is our granny square, okay. This is one I've actually changed the colors out on. I figured it would be a little bit of an easier way to show you how this is going to look, okay. So we have, basically when you do multiple colors, it actually starts looking like more like a flower. But we have all these corners, and we're going to make all these corners. We have corners, we have a straightaway, we have corners, a straightaway, straightaway, corner, 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 straightaway. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to make this. I just wanted to do the first round of granny squares where you guys didn't have to change out the yarn. Okay, so we need to make a shell, and a shell consists of 3 double crochets into the center of your chain 4 that we have slip stitched into. Okay, so you're going to yarn over, go in through the hole, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Okay, hopefully this is coming across okay. Now, we are going to be making a corner here, because the first set of granny squares, if you see, are basically all corners. So corner, 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 corner. Okay. So to put that corner in there, we need to chain up 2, 1 and 2. Everybody is taught differently how to do granny squares. This was just how I was taught. Okay, so now we need to do another shell. So what does a shell consist of? 3 double crochets into the center ring. So do a double crochet, yarn over, go in through the hole, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, bada boop, yarn over, pull through 2, bada beep. Wrap your yarn around your hook, go in through the center, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And this, you can start seeing why I really like these multicolors. Yarn over, go in through the center, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Now, we are at another corner. So what do we got to do at a corner? What comes at a corner? That's right, 2 chains. So we're going to chain 2. 1 and 2. At every corner, you're going to have a shell, 2 chains, and a shell. Okay, so we're going to yarn over. Now that we did our 2 chains, we need to put in another shell. So you yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. We've come to another corner. And what do we got to do at a corner? That's right, we put in a chain 2, 1 and 2 to make our corner. Once we get to round 2, these corners will become a little bit more defined and you'll be able to see the shape of your square. Now that we did our chain 2, we are at the part of putting in another shell. And the shell consists of 3 double crochets. So we are going to do yarn, put in 3 more double crochets. Okay. And as you can see, as I'm going around here, my tail is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, smaller and smaller in the back. If yours is not, that's okay. You can still clip it off. You can weave it in and clip it off a little bit. So this is our last double crochet shell set for this round. To close this up to make our square, we need to chain 2, 1 and 2. We're going to count 1, 2, and 3 to the top chain, and we're going to slip stitch. Okay, so we are at round number 2, or row number 2, because we are not really working in the round. What I'm going to do, because I just like to make things nice and neat and tidy, is I am going to clip this little tail off because, well, it's just disturbing me to be there. So, row 2 is where we're going to really start seeing this thing take shape. Okay, so we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. Now, you can see that we have all these little holes here, okay? These are the areas where you are going to be working your shell patterns, your shells in the corners, okay? So, what do we need for a shell? We need 3 double crochets. So we're going to wrap our yarn around our hook. We're going to go in through that first space, like first hole space here. We're going to pull up a loop. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. As you can see, we have 1 double crochet. We need 2 more. Yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. Let's do that again. Yarn, wrap your yarn around your hook, go in through the hole, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and pull through 2. Okay. Now that we've come to a corner, because this is theoretically a corner, in a corner, on the corners, we need a chain 2. So it's a shell, chain 2, shell. So we're going to, now that we've done our chain 2, we need to put another shell within that same corner so that we can make a corner. So wrap our yarn around our hook, go in through the hole, pull up a loop, wrap our yarn around our hook, go in, 1 and 2. Okay, so you can slowly start to see how this is starting to take shape here. Okay, so now we see this, that we have this shell here and we have this opening here. Okay, so the shell is here, we have an opening right here. Okay, to get from here to here, how I was taught is you chain 1 so that you have a chain 1 space for this shell that we created right here. So we would chain 1 that's going to advance us over to the chain 2 space. Okay, which is our corner, which what do we need in the corner? A shell and 2 chains and a shell. So say it with me. Shell, 2 chains, and a shell. Okay? And how do we make a shell? Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, chain, and a chain, and another shell, pull up a loop, pull through, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, go in, pull up a loop. Okay, now we have another shell here, which we need to be able to advance to the corner here. So every time that we have a shell, we are going to have a chain 1, okay, to advance. Now, when we get to the corner, we're going to have a shell, chain, and a shell. So you're going to have a shell pattern, which consists of 3 double crochets. Okay, so now that we put that shell in there, and we are working in a corner right now, we need to chain 2, 1 and 2, and we're going to put in 1 more shell, because in the corners we have a shell, a chain 2, and a shell. And our shell pattern consists of 3 double crochets. Okay, and you'll see as this baby grows, it's going to grow and grow and grow. It's going to get more and more rows, more and more shells, but it doesn't change. It doesn't change, okay? In the chain 1 space, you're going to put 1 shell, and in the corner, you're going to put a shell, 2 chains, and a shell. So we are now at the corner again, okay? We're at this chain 1 space. I chained 1. I am headed to my next corner here. Okay, this is a corner. See the corner? All right, so we're going to chain 1. We're going to wrap our yarn around a hook. We're going to go in through the corner space. We're going to pull up a loop. Boop. Bada boop. Bada beep and bada ba. Okay, bada boop, bada beep, and bada ba. Okay, so remember what I said in the beginning, that these chain 3s that you are doing when you chain up 3, that is counted as 1 double crochet. So we are back in this corner here, okay? We're going to chain 2, and we are going to do 2 more double crochets because we already have 1 double crochet here. So we need 2 more, and then we are done with this round, and we are going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain. So we're going to go 1, 2, and 3. We are going to slip stitch into this top chain. You may have to use your fingers to separate things. Now there are many ways to make granny square. Everybody is taught differently. This is just how I was taught to do the granny square. Okay, and the granny square is a very, very versatile thing. So now we have, if you've gotten this far, congratulations, you now have a 2-row wide granny square. Okay, because once we do this one small one, that's considered actually a granny square. Okay, and I love these. Like I said, I really, really love these multi-colored patterns, because honestly, if I really wanted to do this, I could just keep going with this and make it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and this would just become an Afghan. Okay, or a blanket. Okay, so just like we did in the beginning of this, when we did our slip stitch into this little chain 4 here, we are now back at a part where we can go 1, 2, and 3, okay? And this is where we are going to put our first shell pattern, okay, on the straightaway. So we have a straightaway. In the straightaways, we only put 1 shell in every chain 1 space, okay? And when we say chain 1 space, we mean the spacing right here that I can fit my finger through, okay? So we're going to have a shell there, and what does a shell consist of? 3 double crochets. So I've done 3 double crochets in that chain 1 space. So as you can see, we have this now shell pattern that is in our chain 1 space at the top here. To get over to the corner, because we are now going on to another corner, what do we need to do? We chain 1, okay? And in the corners, we have a shell, 2 chains, and a shell. So that's exactly what we're going to put there right now. And I'm going to let you guys do that while I do it. But I'm not going to tell you what to do. And eventually, for those of you that are beginners with granny squares, this will eventually become like second nature, and you won't even have to think about how to do a granny square. And this is, honestly, this is a great stitch to learn. So now that we have done our corner, we are going to chain 1, and we are going into that chain 1 space, and what are we going to put there? 1 shell into the chain 1 space. Okay, so every time we make a chain 1, we are creating a space for another shell for the next round around. Okay, and the rounds are, every other round is a little bit different when it starts, but it's pretty much basically the same. So we are going to chain 1 to get over to the corner. We're going to wrap our yarn around our hook, and we're going to do our shell, chain, chain, and a shell. So let's say that again. Shell, 2 chains, and a shell in the corner. Okay, so no matter how you do this, how many rows you do, your corners are always going to be the same. A shell, which consists of 3 double crochets, 2 chains, and another shell, which consists of 3 double crochets. Your shells will never change because they're always going to be 3 double crochets. Okay? And every time we go into a chain 1 space, we are going to chain 1 and do 1 shell in the chain 1 space. In our corners, we are going to do a shell, 2 chains, and a shell. In our chain 1 space, we are going to put 1 shell. And all these shells consist of 3 double crochets. We are going to double yarn over, pull up a loop, bada boop, bada beep, chain and chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, bada boop, bada beep, yarn over, pull up a loop, bada ba, and bada dee. And this is the basics of how to make a granny square. So I'm going to let you finish going to round 4. Okay, chain 1, shell, chain 1, corner, shell, 2 chains and a shell, shell, two chains and a shell, and a chain 1 and 1 and 2 and 3, top of the third, top of the chain. We're going to insert our hook if I can get it to work today. And we are going to slip stitch. Now, on this round, it's just going to be like round 2. We're going to do 1, 2, and 3. And we are going to work our way all the way around until we are at the end here. Okay? Just remember that this one here counts as your double crochet for your 1 double crochet for the end. So when you get to the end of this corner, stop. I will be right back, and we will finish this round up, and you will see how to do a granny square. Okay, the granny squares are very versatile. They're very easy, and you can make easy blankets and things like that. You could totally stop right now and say, I want to make a blanket out of all squares that are this size. I am going to continue going on here until I am done with round 4, and when I come back, we will finish this up. Just remember one thing before I go. Remember, on your straightaways and your corners, okay? On the corners, we have a shell, 2 chains, and a shell. On the straightaways, we have 1 shell in every chain space, chain 1 space. So there's 2 shells in the corners, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, and 2, and 1. All right, and when I come back, we will hopefully have the same type of a granny square that I have here. Yours may be a little bit different than mine because I've been doing this for so long and now my stitches are a lot tighter, but they should all relatively look the same. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, you guys, so I am back and I just finished doing my last corner on my granny square. So I am going to, as always, chain one, okay, and I'm going to go into my very last chain one space. I'm going to yarn over, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, do a double crochet. Okay, now we still have this chain three right here. So every other row, your chain three is going to be considered one of your double crochets at the very end. So we're going to insert our hook, we're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through. And that is how we do the granny square, or the granny squares, or whatever you want to call them. Okay, now I'm going to tie this guy off. I'm going to go through 1 and 2. And I want to show you how we hide our tails, okay? So I'm going to cut him off. I'm going to tie it off. I'm going to pull this down, make sure it's nice and tight. And I just want to show you our finished granny square, okay? She's looking very nice. She's got four, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then as you go around, the amount of shells will multiply. I'm not sure why some people like to turn their stitches to do it, so everything's facing the same way. I find that this way all my shells are looking the same way in the front and the back. That's just the way I like to do my granny squares, okay? You could watch a bunch of tutorials and everybody's going to have a different way of doing it. So what I do is I just like to thread a yarn needle. Okay, and I will go in through a couple of stitches just to kind of hide the tail a little bit, preferably in the same color that I'm working in. So, you know, right now I have this really pretty magenta color on this multicolored going through here. Now you don't have to use multicolored yarn. You could just use solid colors. Okay, I just prefer to use the multicolored yarns, okay? And that is our granny square. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's tutorial on how to do the granny square. Please leave me a comment below if there's anything that I can do to make crocheting a little bit easier. If there's any stitches that you're not sure how to do, I'm sure I can come up with something to help you out and help you with your next crochet project. So in the next tutorial, and I'm not going to be doing that one today, it's probably going to be shot tomorrow, we are going to learn how to change out our colors, okay? And then the following one, I will take the two colors that I just did, and I will show you how to piece them together to sew them together, okay? Obviously, I'm using two different weighted yarns. This one's like a 3, this is a 4, this is the Super Saver yarn that's like really thick and pliable. So, but for the most part, most of my squares always come out the same. Even with these, it's the same amount of stitches, and those are my granny squares that I've just done. I just wanted to show you how you could continue with the same ball of yarn. Like I said, I just really like all of these like colors and multicolored yarns. I'm not really one for like the solid colors too much. I buy them, but I always use accent colors to go with them. Hopefully you enjoyed today's tutorial on how to do the granny square. I know I enjoyed filming it for you. And as always, what do I tell you at the end of every video? Remember, have fun with what you're doing. Use this as your stress relief for the day, okay? Have fun with what you're doing, and remember to keep it real, because I do each and every day. I'm going to go back to my coffee, and, well, I have about 4 scarves to crochet for Christmas, and I'm trying to make about 16 crocheted mini wreaths that are ornaments for Christmas trees. Yes, you will see those tutorials as well. So again, I thank you guys for watching. Remember, have fun with what you're doing and keep it real, because I do each and every day. Bye guys.